Hey everyone! Welcome back. I am back today with more Kamen Rider Saber, you guys. I cannot wait to see what in the world is going to happen next on this show. If you're joining me early today, you already know what it means. It means you are one of my awesome patrons. Thank you so much, and as always, I am sending up those big old hugs right through that screen. And if not, still thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. I do hope you'll consider supporting me that way. The link to my Patreon is going to be in the description down below. So, alright. We had an awesome last episode of Saber. King Lion is king, for obvious reasons. But really, I'm just like so impressed with the way that they keep topping themselves with the constant new forms. Constant, just like crazy, you know, like we're gonna have Toma riding a dragon, and we're gonna have Rentro turn into a lion, and like, it makes you wonder how they're gonna keep doing this over like 50 episodes. But yeah, here we are at episode 15, and like, I feel like they haven't taken a step back yet. They're like constantly topping themselves. So I really enjoyed that. I just like, I had to laugh because I was freaking out when he turned into a lion, and then they cut to May like, oh my god, he turned into a lion, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm May. Fun stuff. But you know, I wanted to point out a couple of things about the Calibur situation and the Kento situation. Because last episode I was like, I really was expecting, I really saw the next predictable route, maybe not predictable, but I could really see the pattern starting of like, okay, Kento's gonna be the next Calibur. And then they kind of didn't pull the trigger on it, but they, just because they didn't, doesn't mean they won't. Because it was actually pointed out to me that we never saw Calibur de-henshin last episode. And like the voice was the same, but that could just be like the suit, you know, like that's just the suit voice. That's not really, you know, something that would rule out that it was Kento in there. And then we had like, it would be a good kind of throw off kind of situation, because we did have Ogami saying like, you know, if you had done things differently all those years ago, Kento wouldn't have to bear that burden and everything. And so like in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, well it's him. But you know, that just because he said that to him doesn't mean that wasn't Kento in there. So I think they did kind of a good job of causing enough confusion, but not coming out and saying anything definite either. So I'm going to kind of, you know, the jury's still kind of out on that one, I guess we'll say, at least. And maybe that's not going to be where they go with it, but I think there's enough reasonable doubt to kind of hold off on that definitively for now. So I really loved everyone just remembering Kento in their own way and fighting for him and honoring him, and I really can't wait to see where they're going with it, because I don't think we're done with Kento. Like, I don't think he's dead. There's a whole thing about like the actor not getting flowers, and there's a whole thing about like we never, like, he just disappeared and we saw the eyes turn red and everything. Like, that's really not a definitive ending for that character. So I'm just really curious to see where we're gonna go from here. The show has just been crazy nonstop. I don't see in the foreseeable future it kind of calming down at any point. But I honestly have no clue how they will keep this momentum going for the entire series. So, you know, without further ado, what do you say we go ahead and jump in and see what exactly they have in store for us next? Let's go. All right, guys, let's talk. So, essentially, the world is not real, or something. At least, that's how it sounds. It sounds like, one of the things that we discover in this episode is that this world is also somehow kind of like part of one of, they didn't actually come out and say it was a book, but they said it was all like predetermined. Perhaps that's just him expressing his helplessness at the situation. But I kind of took that to mean that the whole world is kind of like just another like fake creation or something, which is kind of crazy. But even in that case, does that matter? If that's where like you and your friends live and, you know, and there's people there who need to be protected. Okay, I got the sword stuff confused and I thought he was referring to the Dark Blade. What he was saying is the actual organization, there was somebody in there was a traitor who had driven him. Now I'm really suspicious of that Southern base individual, you guys, the way she showed up at the end. And knowing that there's a traitor somewhere, I don't know, maybe that's just like a red herring, but wow, that just really makes me wonder. Okay, so I guess Kento is not the next Calibur, except that we saw the blade in the book disappear after he was killed. So what happened to them? Because he said he entrusted the blade to Toma. But then we see them quickly disappear. So where did they go? Last time we saw that happen, the next time we see the blade and everything, it's back with Calibur. So are we to assume that it has now transferred owners? I had kind of thought that there was some kind of like actual curse, like, oh, once you're corrupted by the blade, you're the next Calibur. Now it kind of looks like this was a conscious choice on his part to take up that cause, to seek that that truth about what had happened to his friend. So now I'm wondering if that's not the case. I have so many questions, guys. I have so many questions. I would love to hear your theories. Wow, just wow. Okay, so we finally get like a little more info and it opens up a ton more questions. So, oh, also Luna apparently is special and connects the two worlds, which I didn't know. That's news to me. I think I just kind of assumed that she was like a casualty of the whole incident 15 years ago. Did not realize she was specifically targeted. But it sounds like there's hope in finding her now as well. Wow. A lot going on, guys. A lot going on. Okay, let's discuss, because this is one of those things where like I have some pieces of info and I'm putting them together, but I'm not sure if I'm putting them together right, and I would love to hear what you guys think about what is actually going on. So, but I love the point that they drove home here about determination, and you know, they were both determined to save their friends at the end of the day. You know, that's kind of crazy to think that their paths were so similar, with him having lost, you know, Kento's dad and Toma having lost Kento, and they're both kind of like fighting to, I don't know if it's exactly like honor their memories, but fighting for them, I think we can say. Like, they're both fighting for them at the end of the day. But, you know, clearly we have in one instance, you know, you're fighting at the cost of the whole world. And, you know, on the other hand, you're fighting to protect the whole world. That's kind of the legacy left behind. So, wow. Okay, guys. Great episode. Lot of knowledge dropped on us there. So there is something about the actual organization that is fishy. So two things that I thought came to pass. The world apparently is like fake, or things are, well, I mean, he said things are predetermined, but we see they really aren't. You can make a difference. You can make a dent. So I don't know if that was like kind of a metaphorical or if that was like literal. Oh, Luna. We got info about her. And there is something going on. So yeah, and we still don't know where Sophia is. So there is a traitor. Off the top of my head, I want to say it's the Southern Base person, but I feel like that's too easy. You know what I mean? I feel like if that is the case, there's going to be a lot more to it. But then they showed up to give that power too. Oh, that opens up a lot of questions, you guys. All right, let's discuss. Let's discuss. Great episode. I loved it. I will be pondering it and theorizing and doing the little like equation in front of my face thing, as I'm sure we all will be. Clue me into your thoughts and theories. I'm very curious. As you can see, I did get a little lost there a little bit, but I feel like I'm starting to put it more together. As always, thank you so much for joining me and watching along with me. Please be sure to join me next time. We will watch it, figure it out, all of the above, together. Bye for now, guys.